YouTube, it's Lena, and I'm here today with my Pan That Palette update. So, I did get some work done on my shadows this month, or at least the shadows in my sleek palette. I'll get to that in a moment. And actually, I also used my palette of the month. Y'all should be proud of me. Anyways, I guess first we'll go into the Tartist palette. This is the Protego. Here's what it looked like last time. And here we are today. So, as you can probably see, it looks like the gold shade got bigger. Well, I was repressing it and I had a little bit of the lighter gold shade in here still left. So I was like, you know what? Instead of having to go between two different palettes for similar shades, let me mix them together. And well, it basically filled back up the palette. I think I had about half of it left at the time. So I am wearing it in my inner corner today. But yeah, that kind of frustrated me a little bit. I did expand the pan in Drive right here, which is actually a mixture of Drive and Styling. They both are. I've primarily been using it in my brows every time I wear makeup. If I want to finish even one of these this year though, I really need to step up my game on them, because at this point it's looking like I'm going to be carrying a 6-pan palette into next year. Which is kind of embarrassing, although I will say these are some pretty dense ass shadows. They do not kick up a lot of product. They are, the Tartist Pro shadows are really good, so there's just a little bit more to them than I gave them credit for. So my goals for next month, I will say though, Crisp finally does have some good usage. I want to expand the dip in that, and I want to re-hit the pan and Hype. And I also just want to get into the habit more of wearing this Drive right here in my crease, which is where I think the real usage is going to come from, because using a little tiny detailing brush for my eyebrows every day, it's making the pan expand slightly, but it's not enough. So, now where the real progress came from was here in my sleek palette. Here's what it looked like last time. And here is what we have today. Like I said, a little bit of this gold shade that I was going to work on is actually in Hype. So it's kind of finished, but kind of not. However, I did manage to work on and finish up the maroony shade. I actually am wearing the last little bits of it today. I'm wearing it in a really easy fashion, just all over the lid with a little bit of something else in my outer V and a shade from my Matrimony palette from the Balm in my crease, so that my Project 20 uses, I could get it in today. So, I am happy that I finished one shade and almost finished another for 2 in 1 month, because last month I didn't finish any, so that does put me back on track for at least finishing this year. I want to finish a shade a month, and I have 5 months left. Like 5 full months left, so I am back on track. For next month, For next month, I think I'm going to work on this dark shimmery brown right here. It's one that actually has a tiny bit of usage on it. Like a lot of these, when I pulled this out, were just like swatched. The only thing that had like real progress on it was the matte cream shade that I finished up very early on. But beyond that, this is one of the few that actually has a little bit of progress as well. So I think I will work on that and try to get it finished up. Now, as for my palette of the month, I'm really happy with this palette. It's the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. And it actually looks like it has a little bit of usage on it. Like, it's not a ton by any means, but like some of the shades look disrupted, I should say. Now this shade Neon right here, it kicks up a lot. And I did use that all over my lid one day. I didn't take pictures because I forgot, which I totally should get back in the habit of that, but I will say right here the name of the video that I was wearing it in so you can get a look at it. And I had Swag, this purple shade, in the crease of that look, along with the maroon shade here in the outer V, because I was wearing that one all the time to make sure at least one of them got fully finished. I had Ultimate and that maroon shade on one day. It's kind of like a half and half deal. What else? I used Trixie at least once or twice for my inner corner highlight. I used Hippie one day just in the crease with the Hype shade and the maroon in my outer V. So I didn't use everything in here. I kind of wanted to use Dippy one day and I just didn't quite get to it. But like, I'm actually really, really happy with getting like some real usage on this palette. Now, I picked a similarly colorful palette considering how much success I had with that last time. This is actually something I bought in a Boxy pop-up sale. I've never heard of this brand, this Pinky Rose Cosmetics, and they had a bunch of like super pretty colorful palettes. I forced it to limit myself to one, and it is the Exotic Peacock palette. It's got a lot of blues, greens, and purples in it, so I'm not surprised that's what it's called. I have no idea about shadow quality or anything like that. So I will let you guys know next month when I update how it works. Hell, if you want a full-on review of this palette, I can do that too. Just let me know. But we definitely have, you know, some pinks, a lot of greens, a lot of blues, a lot of purples. Just nice punches of color for summer. I know what I'm wearing today is very fall, but I'm still, for the most part, feeling very bright, summery colors. So, like, I had some bad going with my palette of the month. I had pulled in the Emily the Once palette from Makeup Revolution, which I do really like, but is a very neutral palette, and the few non-neutrally shades were shades that I were panning in other projects, and that's just where I hit a wall with it, because I kept it in for 2 months and it didn't do me any damn good. So yeah, I think sticking to more colorful or like more, what do I want to say, more directed palettes in some cases, because like I have a couple of ColourPop palettes that are like the one color palettes that I think could work really well with this as well. And I'm already thinking about what I want to pan next year, because I have a couple of palettes that are more neutral, but they have a lot of usage in them. So I'm thinking that those would be a little easier than, say, like I know the formula of the shadows is a little bit easier than, say, these dense ass things. So I might actually later on in the year do a little poll about which ones I want to use. So you guys might get to vote like you did last year on what I'd use. But that is it. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, stay tuned through the end if you want to see a montage of my progress through the months. I got better at taking pictures along the way, or at least I got better at doing close-ups versus little screenshots, so it's easier to see in later months where my progress is really coming from. So thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully I will see you later. Bye!